What's up, everybody? My name is Jomo, and this is going to be Magic the Gathering game, Legacy Elves versus Legacy Burn. It's going to be me playing Burn against my friend C Hall, and he's going to be playing the Legacy Elves. So let's get into it. So we start off by rolling the die, and I'm not sure who got the play first, but we'll see in a second here. Looking at our opening hands, I had 3 mountains, a Fireblast, Volcanic Fallout, another Fireblast, and a Rift Bolt. Gonna open up, casting that Rift Bolt. So, for those of you that don't know, maybe you don't know much about Magic, maybe you're newer. Burn is a deck that just tries to do straight damage to somebody's life. The whole object is just to keep casting spells that are going to do direct damage to the life points, and to finish them off in about 4 or 5 turns. And then conversely, Elves is a deck that is looking to go off with a really big combo, make a whole bunch of creatures and make them really big, and then take their opponent out on turn 3 or 4 usually. So, I just want to talk a little bit, because this is pretty much my first video. What this channel is going to be is going to be dedicated to Legacy, and it's going to be dedicated to studying the matchups and learning them. My friends and I, we've been getting into Magic a lot more, especially Legacy a lot more in the past few months, and we've been looking to improve at it. And we've also been looking into YouTube, and I've been wanting to do YouTube for a while, so I thought it's a good mix, making Magic videos, and I mean, why not? Why not try it out and see how it goes? That being said, if you're just stumbling across this, look forward to more videos. I'm gonna want to be trying to make a lot more. I know I said this, but every matchup, just going through. I'll talk more about the plays in a little while, maybe next game, but I just want to introduce some things. So, everything that I've said so far being said, we're still pretty new players. I don't think we're terrible. I think we're pretty decent, but there's instances in which we might make misplays, generally having to do with more intricate plays. And so if you're a newer player, it probably won't affect you too much. You can probably learn with us as we go through all the matchups and try to figure out what's going on with each of these legacy decks. And one thing is, we're going to be trying to play legacy decks that are highly relevant, that do well. And also, if you're an experienced player, you can point out maybe some of those more intricate plays that we may have missed, and it would be really highly appreciated. And hopefully, just the chance to see some decks like this can prove valuable to some people. So anyway, let's look at this game some more. So I've got 2 Fireblasts in hand. My opponent, he's got a Heritage Druid, Wirewood Symbiote, and he just dropped a Natural Order. Natural Order is going to let him discard a card or sacrifice a creature, and then search his deck for any creature and put one into play. So he went and he got a Progenitus. So Progenitus is a 10/10, and it's indestructible, and I think it has protection from everything. So It's a very dangerous card. And at this point in the game, I was really worried because I thought, oh man, maybe he's going to finish me off. That Progenitus. It's scary when it resolves. So I'm pondering my options. Gonna go for a Magma Jet. Magma Jet is gonna enable me to do 2 damage to him or a creature, and then it's gonna enable me to scry, which is just gonna help me maybe get something that'll maybe save me. So this program, this is OCTGN. I highly recommend, if you haven't checked OCTGN and you're looking to play Magic online, maybe for free, check this program out. It's really awesome. They did a good job implementing it. There's still some small bugs, but it gets better every time I go on. And you can subscribe to them too. You can subscribe for like $2 a month if you want, and it helps them out. So yeah, there's that. It's just a really cool thing. Check it out. Anyway, he got in for 10 with his Progenitus, but I think I might still be able to close this out. Those 2 Fireblasts, that's a lot of damage. Although I wouldn't be able to cast both, I guess. Lightning Bolt. Followed by a Fireblast. And yeah, that was game. So Progenitus being very scary, but Burn has that fast tempo. And, you know, he wasn't going to be able to close the game out quite fast enough. One more turn though and he would have had me. But just because of the fast tempo of Burn, it can really be a valid deck. One of the reasons I chose Burn for this first video is because it's kind of a fairly easy deck to play. It's kind of hard to misplay super badly with Burn. I don't know how you would, really, just doing direct damage to the life points. But also, when I tried out the Burn deck, I noticed it's pretty consistent turn 4 or 5 kill with the list I'm running, and it's reliable. And even though it's not considered, or I guess you could look at it as a deck that's not a real contender compared to maybe some of the others, it still has some good matchups against some pretty good decks. I mean, I feel that going up against a Death and Taxes deck, or even right here in versus Elf deck, it's a pretty good matchup. So anyway, game 2. I played a turn 1 Goblin Guide. A 2/2 haste. When he attacks, the opponent has to reveal the top card of their library. If it's a land, they get to put it into their hand. So, in a sense, it gives them an advantage if they have lands to be able to draw an extra land, but it's worth it in a burn deck because you're just going for that straight damage. So these videos, I'm just starting off. Like I said, this is my first one. Getting used to the commentary is kind of hard for me when I've never done it before, but I would be striving to improve myself. And if you have any suggestions, please, constructive suggestions, let me know. If you want to see any kinds of matchups, anything, just request it and I'll do it. My friends and I will probably do some of these games with live commentary. They'll probably be a little bit more silly. We'll be talking to each other, trash talking each other, just being dumb and trying to be entertaining. And I'll mix it up, maybe a dual commentary so you can see what we're both thinking. Anyway, on this turn, we had Elvish Archdruid come out. So that's an Elf Lord. He's a 2/2 for 3 mana, gives every other elf +1/+1. Tap him, you can add a forest for each elf in play. And then on top of that, he's got Gaea's Cradle out there, which I just... Oh, sorry, what just happened is I just cleared the board with Volcanic Fallout. It's going to do 2 damage to each creature. And in that situation, I think it was a good play, just because when he has a setup like that with Elves, you never know if he's going to combo off and take you down. And I think there was actually a misplay. Dryad Arbor should have gone to the graveyard, I believe, as well. So we might have both just missed that, and I apologize for that misplay. But you know what? In Magic, if you miss something like that, you know, it's too late. You know, so it is what it is. Next time I gotta be more vigilant and paying attention to this stuff. So anyway, he keeps his Dryad Arbor, and that's really helping him out too. But I'm sure it was accidental. We just must have not noticed it. So we'll try to avoid dumb misplays like that in the future, but no, it just happened to happen in this game. Part of the learning process, I guess. So he's got a Wirewood Symbiote and a Nettle Sentinel, right? So those are 2 critical combo pieces of Elves. Those are 2 cards that enable them to go off. Not by themselves, but with other cards that Elves have. Nettle Sentinel is going to untap every time he plays a green spell. Wirewood Symbiote is going to let him return an Elf to his hand once per turn. So some pretty good abilities for Elves there. And that was... oh, what's that card called? Hold on, it'll come to me. Or maybe it won't. It's just not there, but... I can't remember what it's called, I'm sorry. But basically, that sorcerer he played, it's going to let him draw a card every time he plays a creature spell. And so now he's playing his Elvish Visionary, which lets him draw a card when it comes into play. So he gets to draw 2 cards. And pretty soon he's just going to get out of control. In fact, he might win this turn at the rate this is going, just because of the setup that he has with his Elves. A great tool for the Elf deck is when you have a Wirewood Symbiote, you play an Elvish Archdruid, and then you cast Glimpse of Nature. That's the name of the spell. You cast Glimpse of Nature, then you cast your Elvish Visionary, draw 2 cards, return the Elvish Visionary, cast it again, draw 2 more cards. You can get an insane amount of cards. And so he's still going. He managed to get another Wirewood Symbiote out. Heritage Druid, and that's bad news. Heritage Druid says tap 3 untapped Elves you control, add 3 forests to your mana pool. And now every time he plays an Elf, both those Nettle Sentinels untap. And he's just going to keep playing stuff. So you can see his hand size is going to get out of control pretty quick. And it's going to get dangerous. And another Glimpse of Nature. He kind of drags on a little bit with a combo. I think he could have finished a little bit sooner, but hey, why not? You got it going. Why not go for the overkill? This is one of the first games we played where he was playing Elves as well. So he knows some of the basic plays at this point, but still working on some of the more intricate things, which really make the difference in the Magic in Magic games. Intricate plays that I think people just aren't aware of. So he's continuing to combo out, just play his whole deck. There's really nothing stopping him at this point. So I think I remarked in the chat that he has 9 mana at this point. He's just been adding mana with his Heritage Druid And I mean, if you're already familiar with these decks, then you know what's going on. This is nothing special, but maybe you're not that familiar with Legacy or Combo Elves, or you're a newer player, and maybe this is a bit of a treat. I remember when I first saw these combo decks, I thought they were really, really cool. Like just all the stuff you can do in one turn. There's Craterhoof Behemoth, and that's a key card that's gonna finish the game. Just a creature that comes in with +X and haste, where X is every creature. It just, when there's that many creatures out, it's gonna be lethal. So that's gonna conclude the game, and we're gonna go to game 3. You probably noticed already, but this is accelerated, and I'm commentating obviously after the game, just because of the way it worked out with a recording and whatnot. And also, it's a little bit easier to watch, I guess, if it's accelerated. You don't have to wait for us to think about our plays or whatever. And that's how it goes. So turn 1 Mountain, Goblin Guide, get in there for 2 damage. Alright, sorry guys, little distraction there, not a big deal. Just gonna finish off commentating the rest of this game. So he plays Deathrite Shaman on his turn. Deathrite Shaman is an amazing card. It's just been so popular in Legacy ever since it was printed because of its amazing utility. It's practically a planeswalker. You can thin out your opponent's graveyard, you can deal damage to them, you can gain life, you can tap it for mana. It's just crazy, and it's 1 mana, and it's black or green. So Green Sun Zenith, fetching a Dryad Arbor. So Elves are always trying to get more creatures out at all times. They want to swarm, but sometimes I do wonder, maybe it's not the best strategy to play too many creatures. You don't want to overextend, because if you play a bunch of 1/1 Elves, they're really important combo pieces, and then your opponent plays a Volcanic Fallout, or Supreme Verdict, or Wrath of God, something that destroys all creatures, nukes the board, you're going to be in a world of hurt, so you don't want to let that happen to you. So sometimes it's a lot better to hold cards back and not just play everything you have, even if you want to. Okay, so far, nothing crazy. I get in there with my Goblin Guide. We'll see what happens here. Got a bio. Heritage Druid. Uh-oh, Nettle Sentinel. Dangerous. Elvish Visionary. So if he got a really good draw... Oh, let's see. I Chain Lightning in response. And I Chain Lightning the Nettle Sentinel in response to this because I know how dangerous that could get. Might have been better to get the Heritage Druid. I don't think it makes too much of a difference right now. Just continuing, he's just continuing with his swarm. Another Elvish Archdruid. +1/+1 all those creatures. Which that's important, because if you have a couple of Archdruids out, all of a sudden you're not going to be losing creatures to Volcanic Fallout anymore. I'm pretty sure some versions of this deck don't run Elvish Archdruid. In fact, there's a lot of variations of Elves. And this is just one variation we were trying out at the time. I think, oh, Price of Progress. So the game probably is about to end here. Price of Progress is going to enable me to do, I think, 2 damage per non-basic land that my opponent controls. So in this case, he's got 4 non-basics, that's 8 damage. And then I did something like double Lightning Bolt or Lightning Bolt Chain Lightning. That's going to polish off that game. So Burn's a little bit cheesy. All you do is just cast your spells, but you know, that's what it is. It works. Anyway, thanks for watching and look forward to more videos.